I want to capture a few thoughts about uh, creating habits, but not actually just habits in general, but the habit of creating video. And it's part of what we're trying to solve with helping people optimize their offices for video. If you want to get a habit going, one of the best strategies to do that is to find a way to make the habit easier to do. So, in other words, the terms is called removing friction. So, if, for instance, the example is given an awful lot. If you want to become a runner and you want to go run every morning, then at night you put your sneakers, your tennis shoes, whatever you call them, somewhere where they're going to be in your way and you're forced to put them on. I've heard somebody say they set them on the toilet. So when they go in to go to the bathroom in the morning, they just have to put their shoes on. For me, it was always like I put my exercise stuff right in my path so I don't have to go look for it. And if I know I'm going to have to work out later that morning, when I get up, go ahead and put on my exercise clothes because I'm going to work out later. The whole idea is just to make it where it requires less decision making. So, as we try to make decisions, it takes energy in our brains, right? Like it literally burns fuel. Our brain burns calories thinking, trying to make decisions. So, if you force yourself to make decisions or choices about things, it's hard to actually get that activity going. So, let's say, for instance, let's talk about creating video content. It hit me at one point, because I spend an awful lot of time just sitting at my desk, um, working. So I'm looking at computer screens and I want to capture video. And I wish I worked in some kind of cool place where you had all sorts of cool B-roll and all this, and you could just people follow you around with a camera like a celebrity. I just don't have that. So one of the realizations I had was, what if I made capturing video super, super simple for me? In other words, I don't have to think about it. I don't have to like get up and go to a different area. I don't have to go set up a bunch of special equipment. What if I used all of the equipment that would result in capturing nice video? What if I used it at my desk? You get the added benefit then of also always looking good on a video call. So this is actually my setup for every video call that I'm on, a Google Meet or a Zoom call, because I'm already ready to capture my highest quality video. So I thought, well, what if I optimize my work area for video? Now, I had already worked on my studio itself, was ready to go. Um, Soundproofing or sound absorbing, lighting, LED stuff. Had so much fun building all of this. But then I thought, let's make sure we get the technical part right. So I've got a kind of a fill light over here. I've got a microphone boomed overhead. I don't think it's in the picture. It's just out of frame. I've got my DSLR mirrorless camera, which is pretty expensive, but I already had it for doing photography and video. Definitely worth an investment there. In this case, it's a full frame, which means it captures a lot of really nice video. And then it's going straight through a teleprompter screen. That's not because I'm reading this. The teleprompter allows me to see whoever I'm talking to or see my notes. So I can literally jot notes down on my screen, drag it over. I just hit record and start talking. So all of that was an effort to reduce the friction between me and creating video. Let's say there's some habit you wanted to stop. All you do is find ways to create little inconveniences along the way, and you'll find that it's harder to do the thing you didn't want to do, which is nice. So another thing that's important in terms of removing friction is think about the environmental space for whatever habit you're trying to create, right? So if if you're trying to create a habit of capturing ideas, maybe you want to create a space that's already right where you are that has all of the things that allow you to be creative, so that when it's time to be creative, you don't have to get up and go find a quiet place, find a place that inspires you, whatever. You've created a place that inspires you for that creativity, for that place that inspires you for inspiration. So when it comes to video content, let's go back to that for a second. Um, so when it comes to video content, what I want you to do is I want you to think about how could you simplify what you're doing. The big challenge when it comes to video content, by the way, especially at your desk, is just getting the quality level where you want it. I'm happy to kind of help you work through that. In fact, I'm working on some solutions, some resources that would be helpful for that. But for now, just think, what do I need to do, like with what's in my background behind me? What would I have to do to feel really good about the content that I'm creating right at my desk? And then start implementing some of that. Make it really, really easy. I'll tell you the one thing you ought to be really careful about when you do this is that the reason that it works is that everything is right where it needs to be. In other words, I don't take my camera off and go use it for other things now. I don't move stuff around. I don't change my lighting. I don't mess with these guys. That's all on, these are all on just a couple little clicks on my phone and everything comes on. When I walk in my studio, it's ready to go. If you start messing with things, you're literally introducing friction back into the process again. So don't do that. Remove friction and watch your habits, especially around like content creation, video capture. Watch that start to blossom.